Now we turn to the United States. Montana lawmakers have passed a bill to ban popular short-form video app TikTok from operating in the U.S. state. A bill known as SB 419 would prohibit mobile app stores from offering TikTok for download to users in Montana. The Montana House voted 54 to 43 in favor. The bill now heads to the governor for signing. TikTok said in a statement that the company will continue to fight for its users and creators in Montana whose livelihoods and First Amendment rights are threatened by the latest decision. Now, for more insight into this, let's cross live to Mr. Ina Tangen, a senior fellow at the Tiger Institute in Beijing. Mr. Tangen, in practice, how can Montana enforce this ban? Do you think this ban is in place simply because TikTok has Chinese share to it?
Well, obviously, it's an attack against China. I mean, at this juncture, what they're going after is the hardware. We've already seen with Huawei, with denial of chip-making machinery, even if it's not in the U.S. And now they're going after software. So it's clear that the Cold War in terms of tech is there. But in terms of if this is going to be useful, Bandung, I can assure you it isn't. There's really no way that they can check on this, and there are so many legal issues with it. It's going to be very hard to see this as anything other than symbolic.
So having said that, do you think more states in the U.S. will follow?
Well, I think a lot of deep red states, Republican states, will do this. This is their way of making this a political issue in the upcoming presidential race. They want to say that the Republicans are tougher on China than the Democrats. There might be a few Democrats who try to enact this legislation, but there's going to be immediate legal challenges to this, and it's doubtful that it will survive. The question is, how long does it take to litigate? If it's going to be finished after the election, I assure you a lot of states will be jumping in just to make it appear that they're doing something.
Now, talking about legal challenges, let me quickly follow up on that. Do you think such a ban is the infringement to the First Amendment right in the U.S.?
Well, not only the First Amendment, which is free speech, but also privacy. There's something called the Bill of Attainder, that Congress can pass no law, directing action against any entity or person without due process. That means you have to have a trial before you can be hung. And this is, one of the founding principles of the U.S. So there's also interstate commerce clause. There's a whole bunch of issues. As I said, it's very weak. They're not going after individuals. They're threatening $10,000 fines on app stores. Well, app stores exist in the cloud. I don't even know how they would begin to do that. They can't, start grabbing people's phone and seeing if they have TikTok on them. So it's just, as I said, much more ceremonial. This is just about looking tough. This is a state with 1.1 million people spread over almost 400,000 square kilometers. It has 2 senators, 2 congressmen, but it's not a big player in the national scene.
So how long do you think this TikTok drama in the U.S. will last? And what's the end game? Do you think the end game is to force the sale of TikTok from ByteDance?
Well, it'll be interesting to see how the legal disputes go on. Obviously, it's going to be increasingly harder for any Chinese company, not just TikTok, to operate in the U.S. under such a hostile, bipartisan attack. Because they'll be continuing to go after you. You can fight it in the courts, etc., but at some point it takes a toll. I would imagine that despite everything, that economically it would make sense to look at a sale to some other entity just to save the value that's been created, and then concentrate on China and the rest of the world, where TikTok is in fact very much welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ina Tangen in Beijing.